for stopping by. Hey, I hope the world's being good to you and you're being good to it. Hey, here's a movie that I like. 30 Days a Night. Now, this movie right here is a vampire horror movie. That's right. And I don't actually know if I like horror movies, but I think I watch them because I guess they make me feel some kind of way. The experience is they'll get the heart ticking, even though I'm generally not looking forward to it. But sometimes I can have some fun on the way out. So that's kind of my stance towards it. But hey, another disclaimer right here is don't watch this one with the kiddos because it's kind of dark. Little bit of violence in there. It's vampires, so you get that. Okay, but anyway, 30 Days a Night sets up where you got this town up in the very northern parts of Alaska, okay? And so they don't get sunlight for several months, and you couple that with the weather, and the town basically shuts down, and they're isolated during this time. And I don't know about you, but to me, the isolation is one of the most terrifying things out there. If I didn't have the opportunity to see anybody or talk to them, well, I'd probably start losing it a little bit. I don't know, start talking to myself. Probably end up finding myself here recording videos about movies. So it gets dark pretty fast. So yeah. Anyway. It's 30 Days a Night, but then it's also pretty grim, and that's just how dark this movie is. Yeah. So anyway, once the darkness sets in, what happens is there's this brood of vampires. They come over on their ship, and they basically invade the town and set up their own little buffet. It's pretty gnarly, and then it's up to this guy right here, the town sheriff, Mr. Josh Hartnett, to try save as many folks as he can. He's doing his best there. But he also wants to see if he can get those vamps out of town. Now, is Mr. Hartnett an on-screen maestro like all the infallible Kevin Spaceys of the world? Heck no. But I think this is probably one of his better roles. He's not heartthrobbing here. He is just a guy. Okay, he is just a guy doing his best and trying to get out of a terrible situation. And I think we can all respect that. Okay, now, this movie here is supposed to take place over 30 days, as it says in the title. But I don't know about that. It feels like it takes place in one night. And that leads me to some questions that I need answering. First off, if it's really 30 days, how come none of the guys have just massive beards and all sorts of facial hair? Okay, like if I'm not shaven for 30 days, and I should preface this with saying we don't have the comforts of home anymore. Okay, you're hiding from the vampires. So if we're not shaven for 30 days, if I'm not shaven for 30 days, I'm just a shaggy mess. Now Josh here, he's got a little bit of growth and he's got some of the 5 o'clock, going on, but come on, guy. There's got to be more than that. Okay, so then the next question is, what are we doing with all the food? How are we eating? How are we sustaining ourselves? Because I'm not seeing, as much as I'd like to believe these are resourceful folks, I'm not seeing them up with any produce. Yeah, there's no jerky. There's just no food around. What are they going to do? How are they sustaining themselves? I don't know. Okay, but that pales in comparison to the next 2 points, because the big one is nobody's showering then either. So if this is over 30 days, you're going to get pretty grody, okay? Because you can't take a shower, all right? The vampires will get you. So there's a group here that's huddled up in an attic, okay? And if you're putting, 10, 12 people in a small attic like that, even though it's winter, it's going to be pretty smelly. I just have to believe. Okay. But then the bigger piece of that is, what are they doing to go to the bathroom? Because you can't use a proper john. Okay. So what, they got a bucket up there in the room? Can you imagine? You have this stink of all these people, and then you throw a bucket in the mix? Please. It's awful. At that point, gal, just let the vamps take me at that point, because I don't think I can put up with 30 days of watching Jimmy over there relieve himself. It's just gnarly. Okay. Anyway, those are just things that I need answered if this is really taking place over 30 days. But okay, what they're trying to get at with this movie is just how hopeless the situation is. And I think that really comes through. Now, the big thing about that is, because it's a movie, when you're done watching, you can just throw that sense of hopelessness away and go out into the real world where everything is peachy. And that's just the beauty of movies, because nothing is as bad in real life as it is in the movies. I guess you could say, or good for that matter too, but we're focusing on the bad. Okay. Anyway, 30 Days a Night is a movie that I like. Sometimes. Hey, maybe you'll like it too. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.